Hey guys, today what we're going to be looking at is review of exponent properties. So what we're going to do is we're going to take what we remembered and just look at a few more examples. Now remember, I want us to look at numbers and just treat them like regular old numbers. So if I have -3 times 6, this is going to give me -18. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at my a's. I have a to the second times a to the first. I want you guys to remember that I'm going to add the exponents, so this is going to give me a to the third. On the next example, I'm just going to look at the b's. I have b to the first power times b to the fourth. That'll give me b to the fifth because I am adding the exponents. And last but not least, I have a c on my right side, but I don't have a c here, and that's okay. So I'm just going to write c. It has an invisible exponent of 1. I don't need to write that in my final answer. All right, let's go and look at the next one now. This one looks a little trickier. I have a few more things I need to do to it. So what I'm going to do is I have parentheses. So I'm going to focus on PEMDAS and see if there's anything I can simplify within the parentheses. And I can't. So now what I'm going to do is just start distributing. This is -4 to the third power, s to the sixth power to the third power, t to the third power to the third power, and r to the fifth power to the third power. If I were to do this, -4 times -4 is +16 times -4 is -64. Whenever I have a power to a power, I'm going to multiply those. So that's going to give me s to the 18th power. All over t, and then 3 to the third power is 9, and then r, 5 to the third power is 15. Whenever I have a power to a power, I multiply. I now look at my exponents and see if I can combine them. I can't, so I'm done with that example. All right, so now we got a lot of stuff here. What we're going to first do is just focus on these numbers. I have -2 times -4 times -3. Well, I know when I have 3 negative numbers and I multiply them to each other, I'm going to have a negative answer. And then I'm just going to do 2 times 4 is 8 times -3 is -24. Excuse me, -2 times -8 is 8. I can't talk. -2 times -4 is +8. +8 times -3 is -24. All right, so I have x to the second power, x to the first power. That's going to give me x to the third power. So I've used this. I cross it out to keep my ideas organized. I don't want to mix them up. Next, I usually go in ABC order. I have y to the second times y to the first. That's going to give me y to the third. And I have z to the first times z to the first times z to the first. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 on all these. So that's going to give me z to the third. All right. Now on this one, I have a power on the outside. I'm going to distribute it to everything in here. This is going to be 4 to the second power, h to the third power to the second power, times -2 to the third power, g to the third power to the third power, and h to the third power. Now, I write a lot of this out. Some of you guys might be able to do this in your head. This is going to give me 16 h. Now, remember, when I have a power to a power, I'm just going to multiply them. So that's going to be h to the sixth times -2 times -2 times -2 is -8. G to the ninth, because a power to a power I multiply with variables, and h to the third. I now have to do one more step where I look at all my terms, and I need to combine like ones. So if I did 16 times 18, 16 times 8, that'd be 128, and a positive times a negative is a negative. I now have h to the sixth times h to the third. Remember, when I have variables with exponents and they are the same base, I'm going to add their exponents. So that's going to be h to the ninth power. And then I still have this g to the ninth. I can't combine it with anything, so I'm just going to write g to the ninth. All right. So now on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to simplify this. We have a decimal. We can bring up a calculator and just do 4.2 divided by 0.6, and I get 7. So on my numerator, I'm going to have 7. Now I'm going to I want you to realize I have more x's on the denominator than the numerator. So if I were to write this out in expanded form, which you don't need to, I just want to give you a visual for this. This is x to the 4th power, x times x times x times x. X to the 9th power, I would have 9 of them. That means these would simplify, and I would have 5 left. So far I have 7 x to the 5th left over. Now when I look at the numerator and the denominator for my y's, I have y to the 14th. That means I would have like 14 y's multiplied by each other on the numerator, and only 5 on the denominator. So when I simplify that, that would give me y to the 9th power. And this would be my final answer right here. All right, guys, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or your teacher.